I hear it all the time from prospects and clients. But what's the rate of return? What interest am I going to get? Oh, your product, I can only make 5%. I can make more money, doing something else. I hear that all the time. And I have to tell everyone the same thing. It's not how much money you're earning percentage wise, it's how much money you actually have. Because when you go to the bank, they don't ask you how much commission you made, how much profit you made, how much rate of return you made. What they ask you is, where's the money? Show me the money. How much money did you make? So what we're going to talk about is the biggest problem I have with people when I talk to them. They're all hung up on rates of return and interest rates. And that's not really the most important thing, because as I've shown in other videos, financial advisors and the financial world, they always talk about average rate of return. An average rate of return is meaningless. It's the biggest lie in the financial world. It's how much money did you make? And I'm going to show you today how by becoming your own banker, you can make an incredible return on your money, just like banks do. When you start thinking like a bank, you'll earn rates of return like the bank. I'm going to show you in a future slide, where a future video, that when you loan money to the bank, when it loans you, when you make a deposit to the bank, which I call a loan, and you go back to that bank and borrow, they're making over 2,000% interest return on your own money, loaning it back to you. Now, if that doesn't upset you, I don't know what will. So let's do this. Let me show you my screen. I'm going to share my screen, and I'm going to go through this this presentation. Okay, what this was is a gentleman who is a client. He was a real estate investor, and when I met him, he told me he used his own money most of the time. Sometimes he used hard money lenders, and sometimes he had partners. He said, but, we talked, and, he said, well, the most money I make is when I use my own money. Everyone always tells me that. Hey, I use my own money. I use my own money. I pay cash for everything. Well, cash isn't the best way. People think it is. So when I spoke to him, he would buy real estate. He would buy houses or townhouses, let's say, at $80,000. He said, roughly, I pay about $80,000. I fix them up for about 20. So I'm investing like $100,000, and then I sell them. And I sell them for $120,000. So when I told him about what I do, and he said to me, he said, only 5%. He goes, I can make more money by investing in the real estate. Now, I've heard that from a gentleman that buys cars, fixes them up, and resells them. I heard it from somebody that buys overstocked inventories and closeouts in huge quantities and resells them. I make more money doing that. And I have to tell everyone, you cannot make more money using your own money than you can by becoming your own banker. And let me show you exactly what I mean by that. Because this gentleman had over $200,000 in cash. Sometimes he used his own money, like I said. Sometimes he went to hard money lenders. Sometimes he used partners. So he said, let's talk about your own money right now, because you make the most profit on that. He said, yeah. So he said, I invest $100,000, and currently I sell the properties that I've invested $100,000 in for $120,000. So I said to him, well, then your gross profit is 20% or $20,000, correct? 20% on the 100. He said, yeah, that's what it is. I said, well, you also have another 100,000 that you haven't used. It's sitting in the bank. I said, let's assume you could get 1% on that money, which he told me he couldn't. I said, but let's assume you can. So you've invested 100,000. You sold the property for 120. You also make 1% interest on the 100,000 you have in the bank. So his net gain on his $200,000 was $21,000. He made $20,000 on the sale. He made $1,000 interest from the bank, total $21,000. I said, well, Your rate of return on that $200,000 is 10.5%. 21,000 divided by 200,000 is 10.5%. Hey, good return. Everyone tells me all the time, I make 10%. I said, well, let's take a look if you become your own banker, how this is going to work. So let's just say he does the same thing, but this time he does not use any of his money. He uses his $200,000 as collateral, and he borrows the money from the general fund of the life insurance company. Okay, that's what he's doing. His money, he never touches his money. His money continues to work for him. It continues to earn interest and dividends. So he does the same thing. He sells the property for $120,000. He makes the same $20,000 in gross profit. But now he's going to become his own hard money lender. So he charges himself, the real estate investor, 12% interest on the $100,000 that he loaned himself, the real estate investor, to do the deal. Because he's two people in this real estate deal. He's the lender or the banker, and he's also the investor. So he charges 12%, which was the going rate at the time that hard money lenders were charging. So he made a net profit on the real estate deal of $8,000. $20,000 less the 12 that he had to pay interest for the use of the money, he made $8,000. But now he's the banker. When he becomes his own banker, this is what happens. And this is how, when you become your own banker, you will begin to earn money the same way banks do. Banks earn an average of 400 to 1,300% when you put money in the bank. That's their rates of return, so to speak. So you're going to, in his case, he was going to earn 5.2% on his 200,000 because he wasn't going to take it out. So he was going to earn at the end of the year $10,400. But he had an interest cost. Since he borrowed $100,000 to do the deal, he was going to get charged 5% simple interest, not compound interest, which is what you're all getting charged right now. 5% simple interest, or $5,000. So we have to take the $5,000 and we have to subtract it from what he earned from having his money in his bank, so to speak. He made a net gain on his banking system of $5,400. The $10,400 less the interest that he had to pay to borrow the $100,000 to do the deal. The interest that he charged the real estate investor himself, he now gets back as the banker, which was $12,000. It's the same money that he was currently giving to hard money lenders when he used them. They would charge him 12% for the use of their money. So he's doing the same thing, but now he is his own banker. So he gets, as the banker, that $12,000 instead of giving it to a third-party lender. So his net gain on $200,000 is $25,400. It's the $8,000 he made in the real estate deal. It's the $5,400 that he made by being a banker. It's the $12,000 that he made by being a hard money lender. And that totals up to $25,400. Did he just not make an additional $4,000 doing the exact same thing, just not using his own money? He's now working the way banks do. He's starting to make money like banks. And instead of making 10.5%, which everyone jumps up and down about, this deal, and you're looking at it, he is going to make over 500% rate of return. It's right on the screen here. If you don't see it, ask your financial advisor. If he can't tell you where the 500% is, the reason is you're both thinking like borrowers. You're not thinking like lenders. When you become your own banker, you will think like a banker. When you start to think like a banker, you will start to earn these kind of interest rates. Look for our next video or two when I show you how when you make a deposit, which I call a loan to the bank, and you go to that same bank and you borrow from that bank, they're essentially loaning you your own money. And when I show you that they're making 2,000% interest, maybe we'll finally get away from just talking about rates of return and interest rates. It's really all about the money. It's how much volume of interest you're giving to somebody else that you can be recapturing to yourself. This 500% plus rate of return really, to me, is meaningless. What means something is this $4,400 extra that he made, which is over 20% more, doing the same exact thing, driving back and forth to doing the same thing he's doing right now. He made over $4,000 more. If you want to find out more ideas like this, subscribe to our channel, watch the videos. When finally something piques your interest and you want to reach out to us, either text us, call us, or send us an email, we'll be happy to talk to you. Once again, my name is Bill Curtis. I have two websites. You can go, there's a lot of information on them. One is creatingwealthfromlife.com. The other one is truefinancialfreedomgroup.com. I hope you have a good day. I hope you learned something today, and I hope you take the next step to turn your life around. God bless you. Have a good day. Bye now.